We're going to talk to Fisher Stevens. He's a very well-known actor. You'll recognize him in a second. And he's been in dozens of TV shows, movies, and he's also a director and producer. In fact, he's the Academy Award-winning producer of The Cove. And he's now going to do Culture Project's Blueprint for Accountability. And we want to talk to you all about that. Fisher, welcome to the Young Turks.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great to have you. I want to ask you a quick question about The Cove before we move on to Blueprint for Accountability. It just got canceled in a couple of places in Japan, in Tokyo and Osaka. They say that they were worried about the safety of moviegoers. Are you buying that?
It's so frustrating. I just found that out. And what happened is that the distribution company, Unplugged Medallion, they're called, for the last 3 weeks, the president has been getting harassed at his home. They're called, in Japan, they call them right-wing protesters. And they've been following his children, and it's been absolutely a nightmare. And I think their pressure has gotten to them, so that's why they've pulled the film. And I think the theater owners got nervous. And it's really ridiculous because the film is not an indictment against Japanese people. It's just these fishermen and what's going on in this one cove. And I mean, I'm hoping that this will make the Japanese people want to see it. We're trying to figure out ways to get it to them for free on the computer right now, on the internet. So
if you like,
it's very frustrating.
If you like, we could put it up on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, well, actually, YouTube Japan was even trying to help us, and even they've gotten pressure, political pressure. So it's been tough.
We're the Young Turks. We're used to political pressure.
I know. That's right. That's right.
So bring it. All right. So now let's talk about what you're doing here. Tell us what Blueprint for Accountability is.
This is a show that we did last year in a smaller form. Last year it was hosted by Rachel Maddow, and we have film clips that Lauren Safa and myself put together, basically chronicling the history of the United States Geneva Conventions, which were formed during the Nuremberg trials and what went down. And we bring it all the way up to date to today, and Jeffrey Holder and Obama, the Obama administration. In January 22nd, 2009, Obama signed a bill to close down Guantanamo, and it still is not closed. There's still over 200 inmates. And basically, we have a panel that's really exciting of Valerie Plame, former CIA agent, General Ricardo Sanchez, who was in charge of the Iraqi war, the Army wing from 2002 to 2004, Ron Suskind, the best-selling author, Jeremy Scahill, who's an expert on Blackwater and paid contractors, and this panel, and Vince Warren, who works for the CCR, who represents a bunch of these inmates that are being held, and we're going to show the films and then have panel discussion about where we're at today in the United States and what we've done, starting with what the Bush administration and now the Obama administration is continuing. And we're also going to have wonderful actors, Liev Schreiber, James Spader, Mariska Hargitay, Juliana Margulies, and Matt Dillon read letters from Guantanamo, read pieces that have been written about what has gone on in this regard, and what can we do about it? What can we do as citizens of the United States about what's going on? So that's kind of what the evening's about at the Skirball Center Monday night at 7:30.
So are the actors playing out scenes, or are they just reading letters, etc.?
They're both. Juliana Margulies is reading a scene from this book that Ron Suskind wrote, and Mariska's reading a letter. Sorry?
Is it the 1% Doctrine?
Yes, exactly, the 1% Doctrine. And Juliana and Mariska's reading a letter by Sister Diana Ortiz, who was held and tortured herself, and the amnesty helped release, not in Guantanamo, but a really wonderful letter. And Matt Dillon is reading an account of David Antoon, and James Spader's reading a Seymour Hersh article about General Taguba, who investigated what went on and then was ostracized and basically kicked out of the Army for doing his job. So it's going to be a very provocative, thought-filled, and entertaining evening, because these panelists are experts. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is going to come on and talk a little bit about the CIA and Blackwater as well. Rose Styron, who is former head of Amnesty, is going to come on at one point, and Dr. Alan Keller, who's an expert on the effects of torture on the torturer and torturee. So it's going to be a lot of food for thought, and the films are quite powerful. And, you know, we're still, even though we have a new president and things are a bit better, they are better in this aspect, but not by any means. There's still a lot of people that should be held accountable for what went on, and we still do have Guantanamo, and we still may be torturing people. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what I want to ask you. Are you disappointed so far in Obama? I mean, a year later, they're still got 200 people at Guantanamo Bay, and they haven't really moved them.
Yeah, I'm more disappointed in that. I'm disappointed that we haven't really taken responsibility for what we've done as a country in terms of what a lot of these innocent people have gone through. I would have liked him and his administration to make people pay a price. Whether it's John Yoo or whether it's Alberto Gonzales or whether it's Dick Cheney, I don't know. I mean, I think to just let all this slide is irresponsible. I'm disappointed in that. I'm disappointed Guantanamo is still open. As I said, I don't know what's going on there in terms of what has changed. That's definitely going to be discussed. And I'm disappointed that Afghanistan now has he's just added not only 50,000 troops, but 30,000 private contractors have gone since Obama's been president in there. So it's escalating. You know, the war was, we invaded March 2003 Iraq, and we're still there. And it is. I think, you know, we have a lot of other problems now. You know, the Gulf is a horrible problem, and the economy is a horrible problem. I mean, the guy has his hands full, obviously. So I am sensitive to that, but it's been a bit disappointing.
Fisher, what would have been your ideal? I mean, and what would you like to accomplish through, you know, Blueprint for Accountability? Is it to release everybody at Guantanamo, some people at Guantanamo? How do we make sure that there's no more enhanced interrogations going on? What's the ultimate objective here?
Well, I think the ultimate objective is to make the public aware of what went on, because we're going to have a lot of press at this event. And it is, we have my congressman will be in the audience. There will be some congressmen in the audience to kind of maybe bring up again that the John Hughes memos on torture are unconstitutional, and I feel like he is definitely one of the big villains in this whole thing. You know, I mean, you could blame a lot of people, but I mean, what's done is done. But we want the world to know that we, as Americans, understand not all Americans are like this, and that this group and what's going on Monday, June 7th, is telling the world, hopefully, that we understand we've done wrong and we're trying to do right. So there's going to be a lot of international press there, and it's to, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people upset at us around the world. So that's part of it.
I think I go at Obama tougher than you do. And we're talking to Fisher Stevens. He's an actor, director, and producer. He's acted in Lost, Friends, Law and Order, Ugly Betty, just about every major TV show, if you look at the list that he's been on. And he's the Academy Award-winning producer of The Cove. You know, because Bush came out the other day, Fisher, and said, just yesterday, and said, yeah, we waterboarded Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, and I'd do it again. Waterboarding was torture before Bush came in, clearly illegal. People should be arrested. They have been arrested in the past for waterboarding people. Now Obama comes in and says, well, it's just a difference of opinion. I'm not going to waterboard, but I'm not going to arrest anybody for doing it. Doesn't that open it up to the next Republican coming in and going, okay, I agree with Bush, I disagree with Obama, and as America, we're going back to torturing people?
Absolutely. I mean, waterboarding is torture. There's no two ways about it. And, you know, Bush and his administration think that they're protecting the country by doing that. There's us, other people who think that you're putting us in harm's way. You're making more enemies, and this isn't how the country was founded. You're going against the Constitution, in my opinion. and against the Geneva Conventions. And he feels like he's bigger than that, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely part of the problem, because if you don't set a precedent, then we're in trouble. Because
exactly.
Yeah.
That's also what we're saying. We're saying that we have founded this country on principles. The Geneva Conventions are part of the principles. We have world laws. And if we're bigger than those world laws, then who's to say somebody else can't just come in and make up their own laws? And it's a big problem. And it's how that whole administration operated for 8 years, that they were the righteous and they were the untouchables, and they could do whatever they wanted in the name of protecting the United States. I feel like they've endangered the United States personally, and brought on many, 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 many more enemies. And I'm hoping that that's going to stop. And what we're trying to say is we are trying to be accountable for what we've done, and we want the administration to be accountable and to apologize and to say that we're not going to torture anymore. Yeah, we're going to protect the country, and we will continue to protect the country in a legal way. And but this is wrong. So it's going to be interesting. These are a lot of amazing thinkers on the panel. The films are very powerful, really strong imagery, and the actors are brilliant, and they're going to portray these pieces in a very entertaining and enlightening way.
Fisher, last question for you then. How do you deal with conservatives like Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, et cetera, saying, oh, you guys are just a bunch of Hollywood liberals? What would you know?
Well, I mean, those guys are doing it for the money. I mean, it's a show. They're show business. And, it's sad that they have power. I mean, they're hypocrites. I mean, Rush Limbaugh, come on, he's the biggest hypocrite that ever lived. So what's sad is that he has power and that people listen to him. The truth is the guy is doing it to make money and to get rich. And, I don't even believe that he believes half of the stuff he says. It's just hyperbole, and it's a show. So it's unfortunate that this country takes what Rush Limbaugh has to say, some people, seriously. And Glenn Beck, there's a great film called A Face in the Crowd that Bud Schulberg wrote, starred Andy Griffith in the 60s. Ilya Kazan directed, Lonesome Roads. And to me, those guys are nothing more than lonesome roads. They say their persona on TV has nothing to do with who they really are in person. So that's kind of how I look at them.
That's exactly what our next interview is about. All right, everybody go check out Culture Project's Blueprint for Accountability. It's on June 7th at the Skirball Center for Performing Arts at NYU, obviously in New York City. Fisher Stevens, thank you so much for joining us on the Young Turks.
Thank you very much. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, man. You too.